So, hello everyone, and welcome back to STW Sports. I'm host Samuel Wright, joined today by Mark Singleton. First of all, Mark, welcome. And of course, England 2, Germany 0 the other day. What a result for England, and could football finally be coming home?
I mean, it was a fantastic night, I'll be honest. I was watching it with my dad, and I, what really stood out for me was, I think what stood out for a lot of people, finally Harry Kane was able to join the party. He was able to break his duck and actually get onto the scoring sheet. And I think for him, as well as the team, that would be a massive confidence boost going into the quarterfinal clash with Ukraine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for Kane as well. I mean, he is our main goal scorer, and obviously because he hasn't been firing, we've only scored 2 goals in 3 games. With this goal now going up against, with all due respect to Ukraine, you think Kane might want to try and fill his boots there potentially, and the more confident we can get Kane up top, then we do really have a good chance of going all the way.
Yeah, I believe so. And if you think about it, him along with Sterling, who has also had a massive confidence boost going during this tournament, basically scoring 3 goals, top goal scorer for England so far. I think if we just keep that energy going, that belief and that momentum, then we should be okay in Rome.
Yeah, obviously with the other teams as well, of course. So far, you look at the likes of France being out, Portugal, Germany, all being eliminated by this point. Looking at the teams left in the tournament, how promising is this for every team, not just England, but the likes of a Denmark, a Czech Republic, and even maybe a Ukraine? Looking at their route to the final, it's the best chance many teams are ever going to have, really.
I mean, I was talking about this with two reporters from the Yorkshire Post on a podcast that recently got published. And we were talking about how this tournament has thrown so many curveballs. I would not be at all surprised at seeing something like, I don't know, Switzerland v Ukraine in the final. I mean, let's say, because if the likes of Germany, France, and Portugal are able to drop out of the tournament, then who knows what's going to happen? I mean, I obviously want England to go all the way and finish the job, but at this moment in time, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's such an unpredictable tournament so far, and that really does make it all the better, really, of course. Like to see it, no one. I mean, obviously there are the big teams left in there, but I mean, mainly a lot of the big teams are already out, so it's anyone's game from here. In terms of the tournament so far, though, who would you say stood out in your opinion?
Who stood out? In terms of resilience and just carrying on and pushing on, I I was surprised with Switzerland, if I'm honest, especially against France. I mean, falling behind and still managing to push them all the way to penalties and actually still come out on top. I think they've done fairly well. I mean, England, obviously, they've done very well to get to this point. I want them to carry on and keep going. But I think, yeah, I'd say Switzerland. They've done fairly well. I mean, Italy, don't get me wrong, Italy have done very well so far. They've only conceded once this tournament. And what Roberto Mancini has been able to do at Italy has been fantastic. But I think for me, it's Switzerland that stood out so far.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I just want to talk as well about England manager Gareth Southgate. I mean, he certainly has his critics, Southgate, doesn't he? Of course, by the English press and the supporters. But when you look at the job he's really done since taking over and how much we've underperformed in tournaments before he came in, like, do you think that Southgate is getting a bit too much, maybe stick perhaps? And in some games, he has got his tactics spot on.
Well, from my point of view, I would say, I mean, I'll be honest, I was one of the critics going into this tournament, especially with regards to when he made his squad announcement. I was surprised to not see the likes of Bamford mentioned in the preliminary squad. And then for a player like Ben White to only be able to come in once Alexander-Arnold got injured, what was a surprise to me as well. But I think what will have really helped is that that 2-0 win over Germany, because that will have silenced a fair amount of critics, because it's as if he's saying, just trust the process, it will work. Just let me have a bit of time, let me do what I am employed to do, and I will do the best I can and provide the best results I can.
I mean, obviously, looking at England's options as well, it must be hard to pick this England team. I mean, over the last few years, probably since the golden generation of the likes of Gerrard and Lampard, we haven't really had the best players to pick from, really. And look at our squad now compared to 2018. Must be very hard to pick this one when you got the likes of Mason Mount, who's just won the Champions League, Phil Foden, one of the most talented youngsters in the country, Jack Grealish, of course, who has just been brilliant this season. As an English manager right now, if you put yourself in Southgate's shoes, how hard is it to pick this team and please everyone?
The problem is you can't please everyone. If you try to please everyone, you go mad. And again, like you said, we've got the likes of Grealish, we've got the likes of Mount, you've got Rashford, you've got all of these really talented young players, and you can't fit them all in the squad. You just can't. Otherwise, we would have seen Jadon Sancho playing a lot more. I mean, we haven't even seen him get onto the field yet. So at this rate, it is tough being an England manager, and I think in management it doesn't come much tougher than being a manager at national level, because you've got the hopes of a nation resting on your shoulders. But yeah, it is a tough job, and I think that's one thing basically one reason why we should give Southgate a fair amount of respect and applause for what he's done so far.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the tournament then as a whole, obviously, maybe taking England bias away from it, who do you think, is the best equipped right now to go all the way out of the 8 teams remaining?
From consistency point of view, I would have to go Italy, if it were me, because again, they've just been so ruthless with regards to their playing style and their goal scoring ability. I honestly can see Italy going all the way. I mean, I would have said Portugal had they not dropped out, because I mean, bearing in mind they were defending champions, defending European champions, but at this rate, it's Italy that's sticking out for me.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point as well. Of course, as we're from both near the Leeds local area, just a word on Leeds United going into next season as well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, good season back in the Premier League last season, top half finish. What are you thinking for them going into the next campaign? A big game on the opening day as well, Man United away, so it doesn't come much bigger than that, really. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Bielsa's Leeds going into next season? Hopefully, the supporters being back in the stadium finally.
I can see them doing very well. Bielsa, as always, has not slowed down during the off season, because according to Angus Kinnear, he didn't go back to Argentina. He didn't go home on holiday like the rest of the coaching staff, so he stayed behind to make sure that everything was ready and prepped. Leeds have already started doing business, which is good, by getting their hands on Birmingham winger Amari Miller, who myself, along with the two guys that I work with for the Yorkshire Post, have said is going to be a project for the future. I mean, he's been given a 4-year contract, so he'll be starting at the under 23s level. And hopefully he'll be able to break into that sort of circle of the senior team and possibly catch Bielsa's eye. Chances are he already has, otherwise he wouldn't have been signed by Leeds. But I can see them doing fairly well. And tell you what, if you do Manchester United first day of the season, get that out of the way first, then it should be quite fun. I mean, later stages of this year seem to be quite difficult. I think, what was it? Is it November or something, where they've got a really tough month with the likes of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Liverpool and Man City, and I think Spurs. It's going to be a tough festive period for them, but again, get those fixtures out of the way, everything should be fine, and it's going to be interesting to see them go head to head with Brentford again for the first time since leaving the Championship. So that could be quite entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, Brentford, a good addition as well. Very excited to see them in the Premier League finally as well. And just final question for you. A score prediction, please, for England-Ukraine on Saturday.
Going on Ukraine having been pushed all the way all the way to extra time by Sweden, they'll still be a bit tired about it, and having to travel to Rome as well. I'd say 2-0 England.
You got any goal scorers in mind, or I know it's hard to predict that, but any?
I wouldn't mind seeing Harry Kane, but I could see Sterling having one. I mean, if Grealish, no, I'll say it again. It's Harry Kane and Sterling for me.
So same as Germany then.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, man, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, thank you very much for speaking to me anyway, Mark. And yes, that is a wrap on the interview. And please like, share, subscribe, people, and I'll see you all soon.